lounging, son.
Welcome to another episode of the Comic Lounge Podcast, guys. I am your host with the most Beetle Dill. That was a good one. I kind of forced that. Beetle Dill, like Beetlejuice. And and with my ever-loving green-eyed, blue-eyed, maybe brown-eyed, blue-eyed? Blue-eyed.
Blue-eyed and green. Yeah, changes.
Blue and green-eyed Ryan. We read Spider-Woman by Alex Maleev and Brian Michael Bendis. We'll talk about it later. Yeah. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, guys.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy New Year's. Happy fucking New Year's.
Happy fucking New Year's. Oh, man. I cannot wait for 2021 to start, bro.
I'm kind of ready for 2022 to get here. You know, I'm just being real, dude. I was like, oh, man, you know, in like fucking June, I'm like, oh, I can't wait for 2021. It's a still shit show. And we're like, what? As the day of us recording, we're 5 days away from 2021. It doesn't
feel any. But there are a lot of cool things come out in 2021.
Yeah.
As far as the stuff for us comic nerds and nerds alike, just nerds period. Yeah, it was a weird week. I don't know, like on the West Coast or at least in Los Angeles, I know a bunch of comic shops got their delivery late. Our shop didn't get our DC stuff until Wednesday evening. And for all of you who know, like, you know, DC comes out on Tuesdays, so that's perfect.
Yeah. Fuck their Tuesday release date. They can't even get their books out.
Yeah.
To the past 2 weeks, they did that. Last week was the same way.
They also sent us next week's shipment with this week's, so it's, I don't know what's going on, man. It's
because of the holidays that they always do that. Like for Christmas, New Year's, you get 2 weeks in a row of books.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
I don't know if you were there last year during the holidays, but that's usually what Diamond usually will do the same thing. They did not this year because the holidays fall on Fridays. So it's like it doesn't affect, you know what I mean? Like before, like it was, I think last year, New Year's was on Wednesday and Christmas as well was on Wednesday. So they had to like release the books like earlier or deliver them earlier. But yeah, I didn't get to read Secret Origin 2 because, you know, I got sick, so I didn't get to get my books, but I read some of them all.
I read the beginning of it with Earth Prime Superman, and yeah, it seems pretty cool. Like Earth Prime Superman has always been an interesting like concept for me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's definitely one of my favorite Supermen. Not because, you know, because he's the closest thing to like real people like that we have. You know?
I mean, he's like, an evil. He's an evil son of a bitch, though. Like, he's a murderer.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I mean, his whole role in like Jeff Johns' like Blackest Night thing, that was like one of the craziest things I've ever seen. But yeah, aside from that, I did get to read King in Black 2. I feel like if you didn't read Venom 31, you would have missed out on a lot because like I kind of felt like King in Black 2 was a filler issue. It's like, you know, you're watching like Dragon Ball or anime, and it's like an episode that.
You think King in Black 2 is a filler?
I felt like it was a filler
I thought the 22 pages of Eddie Brock falling through the air in Venom 31 was a filler.
Really?
Why does it take 22 pages for this dude to fall from the top of a building? He's falling for 22 pages.
Exactly.
That's overkill, bro. That's overkill.
But if you read the two together, I feel like it's a more cohesive thing. I mean, you know, like
they both should have been one comic.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. They both should have been one comic. Like, I feel like Venom 31 was unnecessary. Like, but I also feel like King in Black 2 was kind of unnecessary. I mean, aside from literally the last few pages, like I felt like,
I thought this second issue was better than Absolute Carnage #2.
What happens in Absolute Carnage #2? I think I'm on like Absolute Carnage #3.
I can't even remember. I can't even remember. I just know that when I read #2, I was like, wow, this is lackluster. After a really good first issue, you know, I don't know. I think it's a fun book. That's really to me. That's all it is. It doesn't, and I'm not saying that to be insulting. I just there's nothing about this series that screams like, oh, this is going to be like some groundbreaking comic or some like earth-shattering event. You know, like it just feels like it's a summer popcorn blockbuster movie in comic book form, and I think that's really where Donny Cates, he kind of thrives in that subgenre of comic books. You know what I mean?
But yeah, King in Black is definitely fun. It's like, it's like it's like Marvel's equivalent of how death metal is. It's just supposed to be meant for a lot of fun. Like, like I mean, that's how I feel about both. Like, they're just so utterly ridiculous and like.
Right, but I think what metal is. I think the undertones of what metal is. Did you listen to my Snyder interview?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
All right. Well, he kind of explains like where his thought process was when doing death metal and stuff, you know, and then the Justice League run that led into it. Mm-hmm. So like hearing that kind of made me look at it a little bit differently, but also I think that metal, like we've talked about, is kind of meant to like, it's trying to include everything that's ever happened in DC Comics and make it part of their multiverse. Whereas this one, I don't really understand what it's going for because but that's not bad, like this one you can kind of like I would say is almost easier to read because you don't have
it's not jumping like, all over the place,
right? And it's not like you just got dropped into this like post-apocalyptic world in metal and weird shit happening all over the fucking place,
all sorts of weird shit. But this is cool. Like, I mean, I'm having a lot of fun with it. I kind of want to read the Black Cat tie-ins because I feel like I don't know. I feel like I'm missing out. Like, honestly, the only thing I'm reading from King in Black is literally just Venom.
Did you check out the symbiote Spider-Man I told you to?
No, I did not. I fucking knew I forgot something. I picked up a few things. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean. I think it's worth checking out because I think they're trying to kind of make Black Knight. Well, he has a tie-in, right? A one-shot, but then they're also doing a mini-series that comes out in March. And I think it's because he's going to be in the Eternals movie, played by Jon Snow.
I found a first issue of Black Knight, like back in like the 80s.
Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about. I can almost picture the cover. Yes.
Yeah, he's riding it on his horse. Yeah. I found it. I'm like, here, dude, put it away. Jon Snow is gonna be Black Knight. like I found it in that big Revis collection. I'm like, here, take it. But Jon Snow is about to be freaking. It's about to be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like they're doing that a lot. Like, Marvel is definitely trying to get more spotlight on like lesser known characters with movies coming out because like they put out a Taskmaster comic and like we haven't even seen Taskmaster on the screen yet. You know what I mean? And I don't even know if that thing is good or not. Like Taskmaster, me wanting to be interested in Taskmaster, I'll be honest with you, is 100% completely dependent on what costume he's wearing. If he's wearing his, fold over boots and skull face costume,
he's not.
Yeah.
In the movie, he's not.
Oh no, not in the movie. I'm not talking about the movie. I'm talking about the comic.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, exactly.
He's wearing the fucking pirate boots. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not down for the pirate boots. It's just I never realized the costume could be so distracting, but that's just one really bad costume.
Hey, it's a mercenary. Why the fuck would you jump around in a bright orange and purple, right? Is it orange and purple?
His color scheme is literally like Deathstroke. It's just that there's more orange than blue.
Okay. Yeah, it's just it doesn't make sense as a mercenary. I mean, Deathstroke didn't either, but like well, whatever. I mean,
that's okay.
I like the only costume I like is the Gail Simone from the Agent X, like we've talked about. I like that like sleek, like it made sense.
It was technical.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. So I noticed Marvel does that a lot now. I think it's really cool. Definitely get people interested, but I feel like they got to get better teams on it or something. I don't know. I feel like that's gonna. I mean, I don't know who the team is for Black Knight. If I never seen like a movie try to like kind of like emphasize so much on like a little side character that wasn't really like a part of the Eternals or whatever. But yeah, looking forward to it. I know.
Yeah, it's weird to have him in that movie.
Right. I mean, I could have more seen him in like in the Shang-Chi movie, like because that's like they're like C-listers. You know what I mean? Shang-Chi, Black Knight, like definitely C-listers. Like I know a good percentage of people who are just interested in like Marvel movies and know like the Marvel TV shows. But when you mention Black Knight, they're like, who the hell is that? Like or Shang-Chi, they're like, who the hell is that?
I mean, but there's a large group of fans that just don't care. They're fans of the movies. And if it says a Marvel Studios movie, they're going to go see it. And it doesn't matter if they know the character.
No, I'm not talking about whether or not it's gonna be successful, because I know it is. Like Shang-Chi and the Nine Rings, that already sounds super interesting to me. And they got Simu Liu playing the guy. Like he's like one of my favorite Asian actors. He's great. And like, the thing is just like, I hope these movies are awesome. Just like Black Panther was awesome. Mm-hmm. Just like Guardians of the Galaxy were awesome. Like, I just hope these movies have that kind of impact too, because you know what I mean? Like, the fact that this is going to be a Chinese superhero, fucking leading the charge and probably continuing on with the Nine Rings, with the Nine Rings from Iron Man, right?
The Mandarin,
yeah. Yeah, and we get to see the real Mandarin. I hope we get to see the real Mandarin.
Although I wasn't mad that Ben Kingsley was cast, and then the whole fucking switch in Iron Man 3 was kind of ridiculous, but I think he was a great actor.
I was so angry because I literally thought, whoa, we're going to get freaking Oscar award-winning freaking actor freaking Ben Kingsley to be a major Iron Man villain. And then it wasn't.
I know. But I'm kind of interested to see how they rectify that. You know what I mean? Like, it'll be interesting. I think Shang-Chi will definitely... I mean, I want to say it'll do like the same like what Black Panther did, right? In terms of like culturally and stuff. But I mean, who knows really? I don't know. I think that when Black Panther came out, it came out in the time that
when it was needed.
Yeah, it just seemed very like the stars aligned with that movie. You know what I mean? But I think Shang-Chi has the potential to be very, very dope. Because first of all, there's no like there's no martial arts movies anymore. I don't see them. I mean, I don't see kung fu movies. None of that. So like they have to be able to bridge the gap.
There are good kung fu movies, but they're literally from like Asia. Like there's no good American action movie, martial arts movies anymore.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I know there is movies, but I mean, so I'm excited for it. And I don't know how we got onto
we just started talking.
Yeah, we just. I mean, that's what this episode is going to be, I guess, because I apologize. I picked a bad book this week.
You want to just get it out of the way? You want to just get it out of the way?
Fuck it. Let's just get it out of the way. I'll say it because I'm the one. I'm the one who forced it upon you. So, Spider-Woman by Bendis and Alex Maleev. That was kind of torturous to sit through. So we're not going to talk about it. I'll briefly say what I feel, Dylan, then you can say it, and then we'll just move on. We don't need to like bash it too bad. But it's clear that this is not the best work from these two.
And you hear the two names, right? And it's like, holy shit, this is gonna be awesome.
That's the only reason I picked it up. Only reason. The only reason I even read it is because like Alias was originally supposed to be Jessica Drew, right? Yeah. And they wouldn't let Bendis use her in that series, so he created Jessica Jones. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, this sounds cool. Agent of S.W.O.R.D., like it's after the whole, Secret Invasion, and now she's like wanting to hunt Skrulls. Well, that's it. It gives you the setup, and there's like no follow through with the whole series. And Alex Maleev's art is weird. Like he did some like new 3D rendering thing. I read in the back of the trade, and it's just. Oh, dude, it was a fucking mess, and
the art was really bad, especially like in the last chapter, like the 7th chapter. It's like there's a fight scene. Yeah, the last one, like the fight scene between her and the Super Skrull is just I don't know what's going on. Like I don't know who's punching who. I just see like the little freaking the lettering and the onomatopoeia of crunch and smack. Like what is happening? It didn't. If you read Daredevil by Brian Michael Bendis and Alex Maleev, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like that was like one of the most seamless fight scenes. Like so many the angles they choose in which to portray Daredevil, like when he's running rooftop to rooftop, like on that it was sheer brilliance visually. Mm-hmm. This was just like
it's a complete opposite.
Yeah.
Like this is, I would imagine, like I don't remember, but I would imagine this is probably one of the moments where people are like, I think Bendis is losing it.
Yeah.
Probably, and don't get me wrong, like I'm not trying to sit here and bash Bendis, but
he was stretched thin. He was stretched incredibly thin.
He phoned that shit in.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that was just, man. I wish that he could take that off his resume because, like, and I wish I didn't read it. I wish I didn't. I wish I didn't suggest it to you. What do you mean? Like, fuck. Yeah. Like that was like, and I was actually like looking forward to reading it, and then I was reading it yesterday, and I'm like, oh my god. After one issue, I'm like, oh, dude, I don't know if I can do this. Halfway through, I'm like, should I message Dylan? Should I tell him we're not going to do a book? And then I got to the end, and I'm like, should we even record the podcast this week? I was like, I don't even know if I even want to do this. But, you know, whatever. We both didn't like it, and this is us mentioning it, and that's it.
Yeah. But I would like to talk to you about a couple of things I read this year since
Yeah. Let's talk about our we'll take turns. You talk about a book you like for 2020, and then I will. Then we'll go back and forth.
Yeah. That's totally fine. Okay. You want to go first? All right.
Sure. Well, let me just start with something that just came out. Reckless by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. That book was... You didn't read it yet, did you?
I didn't.
God damn it. All right, well, I guess I can't...
Dude, it's been... No, you can talk about it. Just...
Okay, yeah. I'm not going to
talk about it like you're giving me a review.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? No spoilers.
I mean, this is a character like unlike Brubaker and Phillips have really done before. He's kind of... I would say he leans more towards like the anti-hero archetype. Like, he does good, but he's just he's a hardcore motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, Ethan Reckless, first of all, is a dope name. Yeah. I think it's fantastic. And it's, it's kind of like got a pulp vibe to it. Like the pulp characters like Doc Savage or like a Sherlock Holmes, like those kind of old school characters or archetypes. So I'm excited that he's already got the second book coming out in April. Then he said third book is coming out in what did he say? September of next year. So it's just fantastic, dude. I mean, these guys, like, no matter what they do, it's like they always have a hit. It's always, to me, it's like always a perfect 10 out of 10. And I'll just lump it in. So you got Reckless, you got Pulp, you got Cruel Summer. All three of those books that came out this year are fantastic. Cruel Summer was a collection. So, like, technically those issues came out in 2019, but the collection came out this year. It collects like the main story from their last volume of Criminal. All three of those, I guess, would be tied. I guess I can't really like pick one over the other, so I'll just lump all three of them together. But those I definitely think. If you haven't read them, you read Pulp, right?
Yeah, I read Pulp.
You just haven't read Cruel Summer.
I haven't read Cruel Summer because I feel like I have to read everything prior to.
You don't.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
Because it actually takes place. It actually takes place before the events of issue number 1 of the first Criminal series.
Oh,
so like if you go back,
I can read it chronologically as opposed to release, right?
Exactly. And actually, it's crazy because when I was going through Criminal number 1 on the channel with Mario, we were going through, and I'm like, holy shit! Like he is mentioning the events that take place in the book that just ended, and he's talking about it fucking 10, 12 years ago. Like, that's crazy that he had all this in his head, you know what I mean? Like, so I highly recommend it. And go ahead, your picks.
All right, well, this is in no particular order. I'm just going to do honorable mentions. Like, I can't choose. These are all great books that were just like, I was exposed to this year. And this is, I'm not going to do the stuff that I reread because I reread a lot this year. I reread Sandman. I reread All New Wolverine. A couple of the books that we did for the podcast I reread. I'm just gonna say stuff that was newly exposed to me. And first and fucking foremost, dude, Black Hammer, easily one of my favorite reads of this year. I know I talk about it a lot, and I've mentioned how fast I read through it. So there's no like I don't really need to get into it because I've done it before. So Black freaking Hammer has been awesome, and the new issues, the new standalone series that stems from the Black Hammer universe is like Lemire's answer to the Mignolaverse. So you know what I mean? It's absolutely phenomenal. I suggest everybody read it if you haven't. And Black Hammer is fucking fantastic. Easily one of my top picks of the year. I can't believe that it took me this long to read it. And Cosmogog is awesome, and Barbalian is freaking awesome. Like, wow, just Lemire has it. I feel like this is going to be one of those comic universes that's just gonna make itself known for years to come. And like, there's no shortage of good stories that friggin' Lemire can possibly crank out with these characters because they're so multifaceted, multi-layered characters that you can just build on top of. And I can't wait. Can't wait for more. Yeah, I want to see a Golden Gale. What do you call comic? That would be, I think, a Golden Gale comic.
You know who?
Awesome.
You know who I think would be dope to draw that too would be like Doc Shaner.
Yeah.
Because like he could draw like an old school like Captain Marvel story, but like way like darker because it's Golden Gale. I think that would be pretty dope. I mean, they are doing the anthology series too, where a bunch of writers and artists are going to tell stories set in the Hammerverse. Black Hammer.
What?
Yeah, so like Patton Oswalt is doing a story. Jeff Johns is doing a story. Dude.
Jeff Johns non-DC title.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be it's an anthology, so it's like multiple stories within each issue. I think I can't remember how many issues it's gonna be, but yeah, that looks pretty dope. I think that's coming out 2021 actually. So, yeah, there's some bright spots in 2021.
What a strange time to be alive.
Yeah.
What a strange time to be alive.
I agree.
Can't believe it. But go ahead with your next one. I'm gonna
all right.
How many books total have you read up to now? Up to this recording right now? What's your Goodreads looking like?
Oh, just Goodreads.
Just Goodreads, yeah.
359.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
What was your goal?
100. But to be fair, I was planning to I was trying to mix up between novels or like actual books, chapter books, and graphic novels. I wasn't intending to make my list all almost graphic novels. And I think I read the original Thrawn trilogy, the old school Star Wars books. I did read those because Mario recommended. Awesome. Like that's what the sequels to Star Wars should have been.
I'm gonna read that in 2021. I read one novel last year.
Oh really? I think I read those three. I read Three Ring Circus, which was about the Kobe Shaq years with the Lakers.
That's dope.
And then I read Flea's biography from Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Have you read the Anthony Kiedis biography?
I've read it 5 times.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
It's amazing.
Making sure.
It's amazing.
It's one of the best books I've ever read.
I mean, what's crazy is I've read it at multiple
stages of life.
Multiple stages of my addiction.
Oh.
So I read it when I was just drinking and smoking weed, right? And then as my disease got worse, I would read it and I would relate to it in different ways. I haven't read it sober though. So I have to. It's on my pile of books to read again. I mean, I love it. Every time I read it, it's good. So
how's Flea's biography? Was it cohesive? Because I feel like whenever Flea talks,
it was all over the place.
Yeah.
It was all over the place. But like the chapter to chapter, I'm like, what's going on, dude? You know what I mean? It's called what is it called? Like acid something? I don't know. But I can't remember the name. I don't know where my phone. Hold on, let me get the right name.
I love Anthony Kiedis. I love Flea.
I love the band. I'm not gonna look for the book. Whatever. So I mean, yeah, so I read those and I was planning to read more novels, but
I only read one novel this year and it was by Joe Hill.
Huh? I thought you read Tiny Notes.
Well, I wouldn't consider that like a novel. Like I'm talking about with the story. Like I read the Ta-Nehisi Coates book. I read that. That was absolutely fantastic. It served more as like a memoir.
That's a book though.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I'll count that. But one was that's actual a fiction story. It was Heart-Shaped Box by Joe Hill. I think that was his first novel, and I read it, and me, I love ghost stories. I love horror movies. I love I just love scary shit, And as far as this goes, I wouldn't say it's a groundbreakingly earth-shattering friggin' novel or anything, but it was pretty good. It was decent. Like it was about this guy. He's like a Ozzy Osbourne-esque rock star. Like he just goes through girlfriends, blah 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 blah, and then like he gets a weird email saying, but he collects occult stuff. Like he has like a weird occult collection because he reminds me of the lead singer from Metalocalypse. Like that's how I picture him.
Okay.
But anyway, so he gets an email from a lady saying, "Oh, I have a haunted suit. I have a haunted suit. Like I'm trying to sell it." And it goes into this whole thing where one of his ex-girlfriends commits suicide, and his father was like this weird, like occult, like I don't know. He spoke to spirits, and he haunted this suit, and it pricked him, and then now he's like going across country trying to get away from this ghost, but they keep on following him, and like it was decent. It was a decent scary story, but yeah, that was like the only novel I read this year. But I want to read more Joe Hill stuff. I just want to read more books. Period. Like this, like. I definitely want to read. I definitely want to read Thrawn. I know we talked about reading Thrawn. I want to read more Stephen King stuff. I haven't read any of the new Stephen King. I haven't read Stephen King probably like a good 6 years. So for Stephen King time, that's like 100 books. So
so true, dude.
This guy like I don't get it. I don't understand. I feel like Stephen King is like a fake name for multiple writers. So it's just like 6 people. It's kind of like how I feel about Banksy. I feel like Banksy isn't one person. It's just like a team of people who do all these things, and then they just go under one.
Didn't Stephen King used to do a lot of blow?
I wouldn't be surprised. He looks
I'm pretty sure he did. And I'm probably sure that he wrote a lot of this while he's coked out. And that's just why he has this all backlogged, probably. He just every couple of months, it's like, oh, where's that script? Here's another book.
We're still in the 80s backlog. It's 2020.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but I mean, yeah, more novels is definitely like a 2021 goal. But
yeah, that'd be cool. Maybe we could fucking like do a Stephen King book together, and then like once we finish it, like we could do like a book club like on a Stephen King novel. That'd be kind of cool. Like,
yeah, I'm down for that.
Yeah, kind of get us both to kind of read, right?
Yeah,
because I mean, exactly. I love Stephen King. He's probably my favorite novelist. So, but anyways, back to comics. Another pick of mine is the Kirby biography by Scioli.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've read that one.
I flipped through it. I haven't like sat down.
That one was really cool. I know that some people that some people that knew Jack Kirby, like had their issues with it being made, saying that Jack probably wouldn't have wanted it made about him. But either way, I know Tom Scioli's a huge Jack Kirby fan. I think he did a fantastic job. The art's really good, and I mean, Tom Scioli was one of the cartoonists that I discovered because of Cartoonist Kayfabe, and watching that channel during the pandemic and stuff. So I've become a huge fan of his work. American Barbarian, I read by him this year. What else did I read by him? I feel like I read something else too. I can't remember, but his Kirby book is fantastic. I think anybody that's a fan of Jack Kirby should definitely pick it up.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Let's see what else. What has been absolutely fantastic. I'm glad I read it, even though it took me forever. Even though the prodding and poking that both you and your brother did didn't work until like I really just like fucking just dove into it. Fucking Invincible. Invincible. Yeah, Invincible. It's I definitely suggest it for people who are getting a little burnt out with the superhero trope, because this is definitely like a new approach in a new way to approach these superhero tropes. This is definitely something I didn't expect. It's quite possibly one of the more fun, heavy reads that I've done this year, and I mean, there has yet to. I mean, aside from the first 8 or 9 chapters, once it hits that stride, it just doesn't stop running.
Yeah,
it doesn't stop going. There isn't a thing after the 9th or 10th issue. There is not a single part where I was like, man, this is boring. Man, this feels like a chore. Like before I knew it, I was through that entire compendium. That thing, holy crap! I can't suggest.
It's one of my favorite series of all time.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. I think it might be becoming one of my favorite series of all time. And I haven't cracked open the second one yet, but I feel like that one. I feel like I could wait for that one. There's a lot of stuff that you and I have chosen, and time allotted, whatever time allows me to do. Like I try to, but lugging that big ass fucking thing around is not the business.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah, lugging that big fucking thing. Like I like to read in bed. So having reading in bed with a big ass fucking omnibus on my chest, dude. Like it's just like, what is this?
I know. I get the whenever I hold a book, like I was reading my Absolute Swamp Thing in bed, and I had this mark on my chest from fucking laying it on my fucking stuff.
Speaking of absolutes, dude, check it out. Well, my wife got me the Absolute Batman. So fucking excited, dude. This is awesome.
Jealous.
This is one of the most beautiful things. Hold on, let me show you the interior of this bad boy, bro. So hardcover, and friggin' absolutes are known for how they're presented. This thing is freaking fantastic. Yeah. This thing is beautiful, dude. I can't stress enough. This is surprisingly enough, this is my second favorite Christmas gift.
I mean, yeah, why not? It's absolute editions are my favorite. I think that might be my favorite format.
Yeah, I kind of wish Marvel would do something like that. Because their omnibuses are cool, whatever. But they're not absolutes. Absolutes are just
Well, I feel like Marvel doesn't have those perennial stories either. You know what I mean? That's just one and dones. They don't have a lot of them to warrant. How do you? I don't want a fucking absolute edition of an entire run of someone's comic either.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's not true. I have the Swamp Thing by Alan Moore, but
yeah.
I don't think they can. I mean, they'd have to come up with a different name, right? Or a different. They don't want to riff on.
Well, they I feel like they can do Marvel Masterpiece editions, right? Where it's just nice hardbound, Yeah. One of my favorite. I only have 3 absolutes, but out of the 3, I think my favorite absolute would have to be Kingdom Come. The Kingdom Come absolute is just, dude. It's nice and leather bound.
So jealous of you.
It's nice and leather bound, dude. It's freaking. And it's Kingdom Come, Alex Ross and freaking Mark Waid. What? That's. You hear those 2 names together, and it's hell yeah, fucking awesome. But then you hear Brian Michael Bendis and Alex Maleev, now you're 50-50 because Spider-Woman fucking trash.
That's true.
Oh yeah, but yeah.
Is it your turn? Yeah, it's your turn.
I just did Invincible.
Oh right. Okay. Yeah, I guess I don't have to. It doesn't necessarily have to have come out in 2020, but what I really liked was I finally read Hip Hop Family Tree by Ed Piskor, and
that's for our Hip Hop Week.
Yeah, holy shit, that book. Or it's 4 volumes, right? And I got the Treasury size editions. I didn't get the single issues because I was late to the party on that one, but just really cool, man. Again, like I said with Tom Scioli, I discovered Ed Piskor. I finally picked up his stuff because of the cartoonist kayfabe stuff, and I'm a hip hop head, so it was kind of a match made in heaven, dude. And getting to see this history of hip hop from the beginning when it first started, and then you got the playlist in the back with all the different tracks and all these different facts. It was really dope, dude. It was a cool look at. I think it started in 19. Oh man, I don't know. I think something in the 70s,
77, 79.
Yeah, and then it goes to 83, I think.
Oh, nice.
I think it's when it stops. So it's only a brief moment in hip hop history, but it's really cool, and it's evident that Ed Piskor is a huge hip hop head, and the love and care he took in creating this what I would say is his magnum opus, at least for now. It's just fantastic. Anybody that likes hip hop should check it out. Anybody that likes just good comics should check it out. I think it's definitely one of the best packaged books I've ever seen, and the way that they the way they did the print in the back, it makes it feel like it's an old school comic too. Like it looks like old newsprint, so it's really cool.
Oh, that's dope. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. What else? Hold on. We might have to edit this out because I was listening to you talk about the hip hop thing and I was like completely zoned in and I couldn't pick another one.
I mean, we can talk about series. You want to talk about series that we enjoyed, if that's easier.
Oh, okay.
Just like some of our favorite series.
Okay. The Office of X, like,
yes,
like the whole entire Office of X, like, holy crap. For anyone who knows me personally and knows like my personal taste as far as like X-Men go, like I really do think that for the most part the X-Men faded off into obscurity where it was just like nobody cared, especially with with the surge in population with anything Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy related. It was just boom. That it was kind of it's kind of flipped from what it was in the 90s. The 90s it was very X-Men oriented. The 90s was it. X-Men was just killing, right? And then along came 2007, right? Along came 2007, and everybody loved Iron Man. And Iron Man blew up from B-list to A-list, and now he's a superstar. Robert Downey Jr. is going to be forever known as Tony Stark for the rest of his life and beyond. So, the X-Men faded off into obscurity. The stories got really bad. The stories got really bad. I feel
they didn't just fade off into obscurity. They faded off into trash. That's what they fucking faded off into.
They faded off into trash.
Those books are horrible.
They were just all over the place. I can't tell you how refreshing it was last year when Jonathan Hickman came and just hit the reset button. And he did so in the most Hickman way ever. And he gave us our team of the Office of X, who just put out for the most part, all solid runs. I've come across multiple people who like different things, and they say at some point, like basically all X titles are in that list if we were to compile it into average. So there are people who don't like Excalibur, there are people who do. There are people who didn't like X-Force, there are people who do. So for the most part, all across the board, there's always an X title on someone's pull list, and that means the world to me. I love it. Everything. I mean, I'm as it was going, I probably read out of the five or six titles that were going on, I read 4. I was reading through 4. You know what I mean?
In the beginning?
Oh no! In the beginning, I read them all. I think the first 3 issues.
There's more than all. There's 9 titles right now.
No. As of right now,
you're talking about
in the beginning.
In the beginning, you're reading 4 of the 5.
Yeah, 4 of the 5. Now I'm reading X-Force, X-Men. I just jumped back into Excalibur. Hellions is Hellions is okay. I'm still reading it, but I'm just you know what I mean? X-Men has to be the strongest. I just started reading New Mutants again because Vita Ayala and the fact that Honey Badger is in it. That's fantastic to me. Like I said, like I told Ryan earlier, I picked up the first 5 chapters of X of Swords because I'm tired of people yelling at me. Okay, I'm gonna
Am I one of the people?
You're one of the people. You're one of the people.
Yeah, that checks out.
You're one of the people. I think your voice is goes over everybody else's. But there's a lot of people yelling at me for not really reading X of Swords. It's like, what? You're not reading Sword?
Yeah, you got to read Sword. Sword is fantastic. I don't even care. I want you to read it more so you can read Sword than I want you to read Ten of Swords because it's good. Sword itself, that book was phenomenal. But yeah, I would agree with you on the X line. I think the X line has been so strong. I haven't read everything. I've read a lot. X-Men obviously is my favorite. I would say X-Force is it was my second favorite, but now Sword is. Cable's been pretty good. Marauders has been pretty good too.
Oh, Marauders. Oh.
You know what I mean? I mean I love Kitty Pryde, so Kate Pryde, whatever the hell you want to call her, Shadowcat. I really enjoy that series.
Bro. I mean, she's the Red Queen. That's it. She's the Red Queen.
So
that's it.
Yeah, the X line overall has been really good. I hate to fucking jump in with another Marvel book as my pick, but DC's been fucking up, so I'll say it. Daredevil by Zdarsky has been from the beginning of this year to now has been phenomenal. It's one of the best series I think that's out there. We've talked about it quite a few times on the channel.
No filler. Like
there's no filler.
There's no filler.
There's never a filler issue. It's always really good. So
yeah.
That's been like, it's just been phenomenal to watch his take on Daredevil and Kingpin especially. And now, I know that there's a lot of hype with this Elektra as Daredevil thing, but take that out of the equation. This book is just so good. It always hits the mark every issue. The art team has been phenomenal from beginning to end. No matter who's drawing it, they got a fucking awesome artist every single time. Marco Cicchetto is my favorite of the bunch. But Mike Hawthorne has been doing some good stuff too. And then Jorge Forney also, I think, has been on the art this year too. Really good.
I think Marco Cicchetto and his name escapes me. And Pepe Larraz and Clayman have to be my top artists of the year. Those are my.
I'll second that. I'll second that.
I mean, Greg Capullo. I'm tired of talking about Greg Capullo. He's like one of my favorite artists of all time. But like, I'm taking him out of the equation, and Marco Cicchetto, Clayman, and Pepe Larraz are fucking killing it right now, dude. Whatever they touch, whatever they touch.
Yeah. I agree. I 100% agree.
And Clayman only put out freaking Batcat. but it's already
put out one issue.
Yeah, he put out one issue. He put out one issue, and I'm like,
that's the new GOAT.
Top three.
He's the new GOAT.
He is.
My man, dude. He can do no wrong, man.
He can
do no wrong. He could draw a fucking pet dog sitting in a corner, and it'd probably be the best fucking dog you've ever seen drawn. So
yeah. Okay, and as far as 2019 series, 2020 series goes, Firepower. Yes. Shit. You want to talk about me wanting to see a kung fu movie? I would throw money at that Kickstarter. like, dude, I feel like it's easily one of the most. I've said this before, but I feel like probably how you felt when you were reading Invincible the first time, that you were like reading and you're a part of something special. And I feel like Firepower is that. Like, I feel like, there's no end. I see no end to this series because, like, this is one of those things where you can just build, add on. Because right now, I feel like we're only getting a glimpse of a very compact world within that little kung fu community. But it can become so expansive later on, and I feel like it's going to. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and the art, Chris Samnee is, goddamn, he's amazing.
And Matt Wilson, somebody get this guy a coffee. This guy is just somebody get Matt Wilson a coffee. Like, this guy, he's like one of the most busiest colorists of the year.
Yeah.
Multiple titles with his name on it. And I want to buy the guy a coffee and probably like a slice of pizza or something, man. Like, this guy deserves it.
I agree. He's an amazing colorist.
Yeah.
I don't know. How many more do you want to do?
We can do like one more each.
Okay. I'd say my one of my other favorite picks from this year. I would have to say the end of Joshua Williamson's Flash run, because he capped off over 100 issue run on my favorite character of DC Comics, which Wally West is my favorite Flash, but Flash in general is my favorite DC character, and he did a phenomenal job. He capped it off with not just a fantastic final issue in the regular Flash series, but then he did that Speed Metal one shot that really just sealed the deal for me with Wally in there, and is phenomenal. And I think that he's one of the most underrated writers in comics. I don't think he gets enough shine at all. I mean, his Nail Biter is fantastic. His series Ghosted that he did is fantastic.
Birthright was good too.
Birthright, yeah. I mean, everything he does is like really solid. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do in this upcoming year. But like, if I had to pick one single issue that did it for me for the year, it was that Speed Metal, and it's because of my affinity for Wally West. But I think
look what Speed Metal did to me. It made me want to read more Flash. Literally, that was peak interest Flash right there for me. I was like, holy crap, that is one. It was one of the best. It was one of the best things I've read all year, and it was a tie-in. It wasn't even like
I know it's crazy,
you know what I mean?
But it was so good, so good.
Yeah. I can't wait for issue 2 of this, but this is my last one, and should come as to no surprise because of it all across the board from multiple people who read different things. But The Last Ronin.
Oh fuck! How did I forget that?
Yeah,
I'm latching onto yours because that's a pick too for me.
Yeah, Last Ronin. That was one thick issue, thick with 2 C's, and that man, I can't wait. I've never been this excited for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles since I was 7. This is great.
I've been reading him for years, so
exactly. But you know what I'm saying?
It's cool to get. It was cool to hear you excited about it because I knew that you weren't reading the comic. Yeah. You know, and that's another cool thing is that you could jump in without having read the comic in years.
And it falls into the thing where many people are turned off by certain comics or certain publishers because there's an illustrious history behind everything, right? And especially with something like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, who's been running since the 80s, who literally has not had a comic being published. Regardless of who's publishing them, there was always Ninja Turtle comics. And I gotta say this, for me to be able to jump in, only knowing about the brothers and key characters like April O'Neil, you know what I mean? Only knowing about that and Shredder, you know.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's really fun, and this is a very mature Ninja Turtles,
it's like the old school. This is how the one from the 80s, the comic book was, where it's violent blood, you know what I mean?
And the art is awesome. I definitely suggest everybody pick it. I know the second print came out just recently, and there's plenty of them. So
they got a third print coming out too. I got the first, the second, and I'm probably gonna buy the third print. That's how much I love Ninja Turtles. The third print's dope though. It's got a new cover, so I mean, I can't help myself. It's got an Eastman cover, and I love Kevin Eastman. So
yeah, it's great. I mean, I strongly suggest everybody read it. It's like the Dark Knight of Ninja Turtles comics.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what it was riffing on when they came up with this idea. They're doing a director's cut of issue 1 too, which is kind of annoying, but whatever. But it's gonna have this script. I'm gonna buy it, so it's not that. But they have script notes and stuff from the original idea in there. It's gonna I don't know. It sounds like it's gonna be kind of interesting, so I'll pick it up just for that. Plus, I'm a sucker when it comes to Ninja Turtles, so.
No, that's totally fine. But yeah, that finishes off for my list. I mean, there was obviously complete standouts. I'm just gonna quickly mention obviously Daredevil, obviously Immortal Hulk. I'm just tired of talking about it, people. I feel like people are tired of me talking about it, so I'm not going to.
I'm not tired of hearing you. It sounded like I was like, yeah, I'm tired of hearing you talk about it. Well, I'm not.
Yeah. Descender, both volumes have been great. Deadly Class, I had a great time reading. Yeah. Bitterroot was one of the 2020 standouts. So was Excellence. There's a lot of good stuff this year. Definitely, for as much as we complained, there was equally, if not more, than amount of things to praise. It was a pretty solid year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think most of our complaints is more about the companies.
The companies itself. Yeah.
Than the comics. Yeah. At least for you and I. You know what I mean? There's a lot to bitch about always, but I think for the most part, you and I are kind of fair in our criticism. I don't think that we're overly bashing anybody, but
I only have one real complaint as far as writing goes, and the fact that we still don't recognize Jarro as an official Robin, and I think that's a crime against everything Jaro stands for?
No. Jaro the boy one. Jaro the Star Wonder.
Yeah, dude. I love how he
right.
has like a collar. I love how he has a collar over his like top thing, and it's like it's supposed to be his head, but really he sees through his stomach because that's where his eye is. Best costume design, dude.
So that's your favorite character of 2020 is Jaro.
Jaro is my favorite character of 2020.
Okay, I don't even know who my favorite character is, but
easily.
Jaro. Okay,
Jaro. If they start making Jaro plush dolls, bro, game over.
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking see a bunch of Jaros just fucking like lined up.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a shelf
of Jaros.
There's an empty wall for Jaro.
Yeah, you're just waiting for Jaro.
Exactly. Jaro pop.
Yeah.
Instant sellout.
So that's, I mean, I like you said, there's a lot of other stuff we could talk about. Couple other standouts to me real quick are Octobriana 1976 that Jim Rugg put out, world's first blacklight comic. I actually just finished editing the video of my little flip through of the book to kind of show people the Hey Amateur and Insider Art, the books that Shelley Bond kickstarted and curated. Those are two of my standouts for this year as well.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a ton of stuff. We could be talking for hours about the stuff that came out. These are just some of my favorites, and I know that I'm sure there's more you could say, but I mean, I don't want to keep people on here for hours.
We don't got that kind of time.
Yeah. But before we get out of here, is there anything you want to share about next week that you're excited for?
What's coming out?
Is there anything coming out?
The Last 52 that's coming out next week.
Okay, yeah. Hopefully I can get that. I can't leave my house, so.
Oh man.
Sucks.
I'm sorry, dude.
It's okay.
Hey, but at least you can catch up on your TBR pile. That's a silver lining here. Have you caught up on your TBR pile? How's everything been going?
Doesn't sound. I got a stack on my nightstand, and then I got I think 2 short boxes of singles.
Yeah.
That I haven't read because like I bought that Spawn collection.
Yeah.
So I still have a lot of those. I don't know. I got a lot of stuff. Well, and then I ordered the Immortal Hulk hardcovers because the first one's out of print. I actually was able to get 1 and 2 for $50, which is actually a really good deal. That's really good. I was like, fuck, how did I bid on it on eBay, and I like luckily nobody else bid. And I was like, I can't believe I just got these for less than cover price. So
right.
But yeah, I mean,
I'm looking forward to the Iron Man Doctor Doom Christmas special.
Oh yeah, I gotta add that to my pull since I'm not gonna be at work this week because I want to read that.
Yeah, because it's Iron Man and Doctor Doom versus Symbiote Santa.
Yeah, how could you not want to read that? I mean, I'm not even being sarcastic. How could you not want to? How could you not want to read that? Yeah. Like the fucking Doom and Iron Man. Like I gotta read it. I love their dynamic that they have between the two. Yeah. But yeah, I guess I don't think there's a lot coming out. Let me check my pull real quick. I think I literally only had like 3 things.
I think I have like 2 things. The new XMen starts up next week. I think part 1 of that Phoenix Rising, Enter the Phoenix thing for the Avengers happens next week. Dark Multiverse, Dark Knight's Metal.
Dude. Wolverine 350, bro.
Oh yeah.
That's what it is. That's what I added to my list. I forgot because I was like, because you actually reminded me. I would have forgot to put it on my pull list, but when I was editing, I added it to my list because like there's gonna be a fucking Bill Sienkiewicz cover that I mean I'm a sucker for some Sienkiewicz, dude. So
yeah,
I fucking made sure to sub to that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean I think it's gonna be a small week too because it's like it's end of the year, and then and then Future State starts the week after. So I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about when it comes to Future State.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's all I got.
That's all I got too.
If you're not already following us, make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The Comic Lounge. You can follow Dylan at The Dillbot on Instagram. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe and hit the bell icon so you're notified every time a new video goes up. And on that note, we're out.
Later, buds.